Peace YouTube, Peace X. Welcome to Winning Wednesdays. We'll give it a minute before we begin. As you come in, let me know if you can hear me and see me. I stay screwing up this tech, so I'm always hesitant to continue before we check the tech. We good on the tech? Just let me know. Peace, Jen. As you come in, let us know where you're from. Cali in the building, New York in the building, Florida in the building, Carolinas in the building. Where else? Ohio probably in the building. Let us know what planet you're on, what atmosphere you're on, what stratosphere you're on, what county you're in, what country you're in, what zip code you're in, what state you're in, what city you're in. Let's see here. Okay, cool. West Palm Beach in the building. West Palm Beach in the building. South Florida is the new New York City. South Florida is the new DC. South Florida is the new main market in America. No lie. South Florida is the new key market in America. So welcome, West Palm Beach. Welcome, Tara. America's top executives operate out of South Florida. South Florida is the new DC. We got Queens in the building. Peace to MB. Queens in the building. New York City relocated down to South Florida. All those trillions of dollars relocated from New York and Cali down to Florida. Last 5 years. Follow the money in America. You want to know the truth? Follow the money in America. Follow where the money went. Don't follow what he said or she said. Follow where the money went, and the money flowed down to South Florida the last 5 years. Queens in the building. Who else we got? Andrea. Peace to Andrea. Detroit in the building. We got Detroit, Metro Detroit checking in. Welcome, Detroit. Welcome, Detroit. Oh yeah. So as you come in, let us know where you're from. Winning Wednesdays at noon Eastern. We discuss current events in the stock market. We discuss some news articles. We'll discuss earnings. We'll discuss what's going on in the market. A couple of things in my notes today I wanted to discuss in terms of news. You might have seen it in the description. A couple of things I want to discuss today. First, later today, I believe at 2 p.m. Eastern, the Fed will announce their decision with regards to interest rates. I believe the expectation is they hold interest rates flat. We'll discuss that. I wanted to discuss the recent Berkshire Hathaway annual shareholder meeting just occurred a few days ago. I want to discuss on that, and I want to discuss one other article as well, dealing with Canada and the United States, their relations. So that's a few articles I want to discuss. Of course, we're going to look at current market. I wanted to give an update on some scheduling in the Black Business School. Wanted to take some questions, and after that, we'll see where we are in terms of time. All right, it's 4 p.m. 4 after the hour. I wanted to get right to it. All right, let me pull up the first article I saw this article on CNN Business yesterday. It deals with Warren Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway, and his recent shareholders meeting. So let's get right into it. I wanted to discuss his replacement. He actually mentioned that he was going to step down at year's end. And I wanted to talk about his replacement. He had mentioned he mentioned his replacement. So I wanted to jump right into this article. Let's see what it says here. Now, this is a CNN Business article I saw online yesterday. Warren Buffett delivered more than a 5 million% return on investors. Now, that number is crazy alone. 5 million% return to his investors. This guy's going to replace him. So let's see what he says here. I believe his name is Abel. Yeah, this guy right here. Hopefully you can see that. This gentleman right here will be replacing Warren Buffett. Okay, so let's see what it says right here. Greg Abel, Center, greets attendees during a shareholders shopping day ahead of Berkshire Hathaway's annual shareholders meeting in Omaha. So I believe this meeting occurred over the weekend. All right, let's just read a few. Let's see what this article says. Those who have followed Berkshire Hathaway have long anticipated the day that would come when legendary investor and CEO Warren Buffett called it quits. But the news came unexpectedly at Berkshire's annual shareholder meeting on Saturday, as the 94-year-old Oracle of Omaha waited until the end of the event to announce he would step down at year's end and would officially recommend Greg Abel to take his place. So Greg Abel will be taking over for the legendary Warren Buffett. This actually makes me think. I know this class we kind of stay away from the options discussion, but I wanted to mention one option strategy that I actually studied and I got from Warren Buffett. So I'm going to circle back to that in a few minutes. The board, let's see what else says. The board approved the plan, naming Abel as Berkshire's next CEO when Buffett steps down at year end. Buffett will remain the company's executive chairman. Okay. Naming Abel, a 25-year veteran of Berkshire, as its successor was not exactly surprising. Buffett said in May 2021 that Abel would be the next in line to lead the $1.1 trillion conglomerate. All you mathematicians, how many zeros is trillion? How many zeros in 1 trillion? All you statisticians, all you scientists, how many zeros in 1 trillion? The directors are in agreement if something were to happen to me tonight, it would be Greg who'd take over tomorrow morning. So here's a business lesson right here. Let's stop right there. Here's a business lesson for all of us. Something to keep in mind for all of us business owners. What's your succession plan? Who will take over? Assuming you don't wake up tomorrow morning, who will take over your business? Do you have the paperwork in place? Do you have this succession plan set up already? Buffett already had his succession plan dating back 4 years ago. Do we have our succession plan? Do we have the right documentation in place? So that's business lesson 1 of today. Have your succession plan in place. Don't wait till you're in the hospital. Don't wait till you're on the deathbed. Don't wait till you're in that car accident. Get your paperwork straight from now. All right, let's move on. Directors are in agreement that if something were to happen, actually, I read that already. Abel, 62, currently serves as the chairman and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway Energy and vice chairman of non-insurance operations. Okay, so he's got a leading role in the company already. Let's see what else here. Also, he's Canadian. Edmonton, Alberta-born businessman will take over as Berkshire Hathaway CEO in 2026. So it is May 2025, so we've got 7 months until Abel takes over. No pressure. The guy Abel is replacing is the world's most famous investor who delivered. All you mathematicians here, what return is that? Return to investors during his tenure. Imagine that return. Imagine that return. I mean, there's business lesson 2 of today right there. We talked about the succession plan. Here's business lesson 2 of today. How do you get a 5.5? How do you get a 5 million % return? Do you day trade? Do you sell options? Do you buy options? Do you buy and hold? Business lesson number 2 for today: buy and hold. Master that first before you get into the fancy stuff. Buy and hold first. Buy and hold first. Business lesson 2: buy and hold. All right, let's see. Okay, so this article goes on to talk about some of his background here. Let's see what else it says here. Okay, so this is a CNN business article. I want to touch base on this. Buffett's one of the best investors of all time. He's stepping down at year's end. Let's see what this says. Since 2000, Berkshire Hathaway has outpaced the market by almost 3 to 1. All right, so that's business lesson 2 right there. Buy and hold. Okay, so okay, I just want to go through this a little bit more of this article, and then we'll move on. A more active leader. During the Saturday shareholders meeting, afternoon Q&A session, this guy fielded a question for Abel to describe his approach in dealing with Berkshire's subsidiaries compared to Buffett's. Before Abel answered the question by describing himself as a more active, but hopefully in a very positive way, You really need someone that behaves well on top and is not playing games. Okay, business lesson 3 right there. Business lesson 3 right there. Business lesson 1, have your succession plan in place. Business lesson 2, buy and hold. Business lesson 3 right here. Not playing games. I'm going to talk about this exact thing in Miami on Friday. Not playing games. How many of us say we're serious? How many of us say we want financial freedom? How many of us work ethics actually reflect that? Ask 100 people, do you want financial freedom? 100 of them will say yes. Question is, does their work ethic reflect that? That's the differentiating factor right there. Does your work ethic reflect it? This guy said he ain't playing games. My playtime for me ended December 31st, 2019. No bullshit. I'm gonna talk about that more in the Miami this Friday. So business lesson 3 here: stop playing games. Playtime is over. Only if you're serious. Okay, you really need someone that behaves well on top and is not playing games for their own benefit. And we get a lot of managers that bend over backward and do not do that sort of thing, and then we get some of the bend for it. Okay. Praise enables abilities hasn't come from. Okay, so you can read the rest of this article on your own. Business lesson 1, 12 minutes after the hour, we got 3 business lessons right off the top. Succession plan, business lesson 1. Business lesson 2, buy and hold. Business lesson 3, stop playing games. All right, enough of that article. You can read the rest of that article on CNN Business. What do you think about that article? What do you think about that article? All right, let's see what does the chat say. What does the chat say? Let's see what the chat says. Buffett's replacement found out at the meeting. Greg ran his non-insurance arm. Okay, Buffett said Berkshire Hathaway not. There you go. Not make stupid decisions with the funds. We will still be around, giving away shares versus selling. Okay. Yeah, no stupid decisions. Me personally, I only can speak for myself. I made multiple stupid decisions in the past. No more stupid decisions. Playtime ended December 31st, 2019 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so what else do we have? Patience is key. Value investor selects great undervalued companies. Yep. With great leads and a moat. Yep. What's a moat? What's another word for moat? I know it as competitive advantage. In other words, what's your competitive advantage? What's your business? How does your business separate itself from from competitors? What makes your business special? What makes you special? What differentiates you versus all the other thousand other businesses? What's your moat? What's your competitive advantage? All right, let's see here. All right, let's get back. All right, so 3 business lessons just to recap right quick. Business lesson 1, have your paperwork straight in terms of succession. Business lesson 2, buy and hold. That's the best investing strategy right there. No need to get cute with the options. No need to get cute with the day trading. No need to get cute with this and that. Buy and hold. And then 3rd lesson, stop playing games. Playtime ended. Leave the games for the children. We grown here. We trying to make history here. Let the kids play the games. We locked in. We locked in. All right. So there's a 3 business lessons right there. Okay. All right. Andrea asks, in war times, the moat was a literal protection around. In war times, the moat was a literal protection around. Okay, I'm not understanding that. Yeah, I'm not following that question or comment. But anyways, that was the first article I want to talk about. Buffett stepping down at year's end. We can learn a lot from Buffett. We can learn a lot from his business, how he operates, how he ran his business. I really just studied industry greats, regardless of industry. I took lessons from industry leaders in multiple industries, and I applied those same lessons to my life and my business. What lessons can we study from Buffett? What lessons can we learn? What lessons can we implement? Whatever field you like, whatever. If you're in tech, if you're in healthcare, if you're in real estate, study the industry leaders in that field, learn lessons from them, implement those same lessons into your life. So we can learn a lot of investing lessons from Buffett. All right, so that was the first article. Second article I wanted to discuss was, it's actually not an article. It has to do with today's Fed decision. So the Fed will announce, it's expected they announce their interest rate decision today, later today. I believe they'll hold interest rates flat. So if that's the case, let's look at the market right quick. Let's see what's going on in the market. Let me share my screen here. Let me stop sharing that one, and let me share this one. All right, let's share. Let me see here. I want to share my trading view, and let's see what's going on in the market today. All right, here's a live look at the market right here. Mostly green today. It's 12:16 p.m. Eastern, mostly green. We'll see what happens after 2 p.m., after about 2 or 2:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll see if the market does anything different. But right now, mostly green. The major indexes are green. NASDAQ slightly down, actually. Most of the mega caps are green. BTC currently at 96.7, just slightly down. I think this morning was at 97. Ethereum 1800. Some of these other mega caps are green. Some of these option plays I know you guys run on the Mara and on the Palantir. Okay, so Palantir I wanted to discuss a little more detail. Tesla down slightly 1%. What else? We got Mara up, Eli Lilly up, Google slightly down. Okay, Google is down a lot today. Google's in the 140s. Okay, I didn't notice that until right now. All right, so what happened to Google? What happened to Google overnight? How's it down 8%? That's not like Google to jump that much in one day. So something's going on with Google in these streets. What's going on with Google? All right. Okay, so that's what's going on in the market currently. We'll circle back to that later. Okay, so 2 p.m. Eastern, we're going to keep an eye on the Fed. Jerome Powell will make his decision later today. If the interest rates do indeed remain flat, I expect the market to either remain where it is or just go up slightly, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what actually shakes out later today. Yep, yeah, Andrea, yeah, that's right. FOMC, name of the Federal Reserve's meeting where monetary policy decisions are made. Yep. We'll see what actually happens. The expectation is they keep rates flat. All right, so let's get back to the articles, current events. I wanted to discuss this one right here. Let me share my screen here. All right, okay, let me stop sharing that and let me share this one. I wanted to mention this financial resource. This is a good resource right here as well. You might have heard me mention Motley Fool in the past. Another good financial resource besides Yahoo Finance and besides CNN Business. They do have good articles every day. All right, let's see what's going on in the Motley Fool. There's an article I wanted to discuss here. I wonder if it's here still. If not, it might be on CNN Business. Okay, I don't see it here. I think this updates every so often. Let me go to CNN Business. Let me stop sharing that one. I wanted to discuss Trump meeting with the Canadian Prime Minister. Let me share this one. All right, here we go. All right, the article is, let's see, yeah, right here. Trump's trade war with Canada has backfired on America. Now he has a crucial meeting with Mark Carney. I believe Mark Carney is the new Canadian Prime Minister. All right, let's check this article right quick. Trump's trade war with, okay, we just read that. Let's see what it says here. Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney speaks at a news conference about the U.S. tariffs on Parliament Hill in Ottawa on April 3rd. All right, let's see what it says. Canadian Prime Minister will visit U.S. President Donald Trump at White House on Tuesday in what could be one of the most contentious meetings between the neighboring countries' leaders in years. Canada is America's second biggest trading partner. Okay, so here's business lesson 4. Business lesson 4. If you do business and you have business partners, is it in your best interest to jerk them, or is it in your best interest to maintain a good relationship with them? If me and you do big business, is it in my best interest to keep a good relationship with you, or is it in my best interest to jerk you, lie to you, steal from you, um, do this behind your back, do that behind your back? In business, maintain good relationships. Never burn any bridges. You never know what the future holds. You want to maintain good relationships with everyone. You want to cuss nobody out. You don't want to jerk nobody. You don't want to backbite nobody. You don't want to do no shady shit. Be solid. Be a stand up person. Be a trustworthy person. Follow through with what you said you were going to do, and all the business can jump off from that. If you can't trust me and I can't trust you, we can't do business. All right. So business lesson 4: be a solid person. Okay. Before we do business, be a solid person. Be trustworthy. Um, keep your word. Right. I understand life be life, and sometimes and certain things come up, but for the most part, keep your word and be a solid person. Okay, business lesson 4: be a solid person. We can't do business if we don't trust each other. If I believe you're going to jerk me, if you believe I'm going to jerk you, I'm going to do this behind your back. I'm going to do this, and we can't. No, that's not going to work. Business lesson 4: be a solid person. That's it. You don't need a business PhD to understand that. All right, get back to the article. Canada is America's second biggest trading partner and one of its closest allies on many fronts, from national security to commerce. But Trump's aggressive tariff blitz in recent months has undermined that long-standing relationship and inadvertently helped Carney consolidate political power. All right, let's pause for the cause right there. Let's pause for the cause right there. If two people are doing business with each other and one person starts going crazy, one party starts going crazy, how should the other partner deal with that? Has this happened to you? Have you done business with somebody? Has one of your business partners gone crazy? Did they not follow through what they're supposed to follow through with? Did they not uphold their end of the bargain? How did you deal with that? How will you deal with that? That day's coming. How will you deal with that in the future? Okay, let's go on. In a stunning rebuke to Trump, Canada's Liberal Party, with Carney as its leader, who won federal elections last week, putting the newly elected government on a collision course with the Trump administration. Okay, in a defiant post-election speech, Carney said, "We are over the shock of the American betrayal, but we should never forget the." There you go. There you go. There's business lesson 4: don't jerk your business partners. There you go. Simple. You don't need to go to business school to understand that. You don't need a PhD to understand that. Be a stand-up person. Be trustworthy. Follow through with your word. There's business lesson 4: don't jerk your business partners. Canada and the U.S. have shared free trade for decades, but Trump's sweeping tariffs upended that symbiotic relationship, and the damage Trump's trade war has inflicted on America is severe. If me and you are business partners and I do some crazy shit, and you get mad, what's the solution? Are we still going to do business? Are you going to break the contract? How do we deal with that? How do we deal with the conflict resolution? How do we deal with that? So here's a second article I want to discuss: the existing and deteriorating relationship between Canada and the United States. What else to say? Commerce Secretary Howard on Monday told Fox Business that a deal with Canada is possible, but would be very complex. Two countries done business for decades. All of a sudden, one party goes off the rails, and it jeopardizes the overall relationship. Okay, business lesson 4. There's a fourth business lesson. You don't need to go to business school to learn business lessons. How are you going to deal with that? How are you going to deal with that? Yeah, be a solid person, and don't jerk nobody, don't rob nobody, don't commit no fraud. Follow through. Keep your word. I mean, if you don't view me as trustworthy, if you think I'm a fraud, if you think I'll jerk you, is it possible we do business? Would you do business with me if I'm not a stand-up person, if I don't follow through, if I'm a fraudster, if I'm not who I say I am? Would you do business with me? There's business lesson 4. Just be a solid person. Maintain good relationships. All right, let's see what the this article says on the bottom here. Escalating trade tensions. Until February, the two countries were bound by the U.S. Mexico Canada free trade agreement, a deal brokered by Trump himself in the first term. Okay, but Trump changed that this year, early March. Okay, Trump also announced 25% tariffs on all cars. Canada responded to Trump's actions with 25% tariff, Canadian $30 billion worth of imports plus additional. Okay, all that means is one party jerked the other party returned the favor. Okay, if I jerk you, shouldn't I expect you to jerk me in business? Not that I would jerk you, not that you would jerk me, but you can't be surprised if I jerk my business partner and then my business partner turned around and jerked me. That's expected. That's expected. The trade war has huge repercussions for both economies. Now, if me and you are business partners, and I jerk you or you jerk me, and we blow up the relationship, it's in our best interest to maintain a good relationship. Both of us can win. Both of us can eat. It's not a zero-sum game. So business lesson 4, just be a solid person, maintain good relationships. Don't jerk nobody, don't rob nobody, be trustworthy, keep your word. You don't need fancy degrees to know that. Okay, no fancy degrees, no more shiny degrees, no more shiny resumes. I'm gonna talk about that exact thing in Miami on Friday. No more shiny resumes. All right, second article. What do you think about that? What's your takeaway? What's your takeaway there? What is the takeaway? I mean, we can read these articles. We can keep up with the news. What does it matter if we don't learn lessons? What's the key takeaway from that article? Key takeaway from the first two articles. Right, exactly. Here's a key point right here from Jen. Your brand can suffer when you're partnered with jerks. If I have a business partner and he starts doing some crazy shit, he starts getting involved in all kinds of crazy shit, it might be in my best interest to sever ties. Why? Because I don't want my brand to be associated with some crazy shit, right? It affects my brand. I don't care if it affects his brand, but I do care if it affects my brand. So at that point, we might have to sever ties, right? You can't. I mean, you see this same thing in pop culture, right? You see the same thing going on in pop culture. Diddy was allegedly involved in some crazy shit. All those companies that did business with him dropped him overnight. We don't want that crazy shit associated with our brand. You keep that crazy shit over there. We see this with who else? Where else do we see this in everyday life? Where else do we see this? There's several examples, right? There's several examples. All right, so 4 business lessons within the first 28 minutes. All right, what else we got? Okay, we got about 200 people on the call today. Before we continue, in terms of scheduling, a couple things on the schedule. Tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, every Wednesday night, the book club. Real American History. Doc goes through Real American History. History not taught in history class. History not taught in university. So if you're interested in Real American History, check out the book club, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, every Wednesday night. That's later tonight. What else we got on the schedule? Friday and Saturday. Economic Elevation, Miami, Florida. I'll be down there. I'll be down in Miami starting tomorrow. I'm going to give a lecture on options, mathematics for millionaires, starting on Friday night. I can't speak for the other speakers. I only can speak for myself. My lecture alone, no gassing, no bullshit. My lecture alone is worth the price of admission. My lecture alone will cover whatever expenses you already incurred, whatever flight you incurred, whatever flight expense you incurred, whatever hotel, whatever car rental, whatever Airbnb, whatever food expenses you will incur. My lecture alone will cover those expenses. I'll give you more value alone in my lecture for whatever expenses you've already incurred. But here's the caveat, though. Here we go. Here's the key point, though. You must execute. All the analysis is great. All the due diligence is great. All the homework is great. All the market research is great. Your ass got to execute. Your ass got to execute. Your ass has to take action. We have all the knowledge already. We've taken all the classes. We've done all the analysis already. If you want change, you got to execute. You got to take action at some point. Okay, so my lecture alone will provide enough value for whatever expense you incurred, but you must take action. So that's Friday and Saturday. My lecture will be on Friday night. I'll be down there starting tomorrow. I'll be there Thursday night, Friday, Saturday. Me personally, I'll be in St. Louis on Tuesday. I'll be in Miami starting tomorrow. I'll be in St. Louis on Tuesday. So anyone want to connect with me, anyone want to network, you know where I'll be. So that's what's coming up in the Black Business School in the next few days. All right. What else we got? Okay, we talked about a few of the articles I want to touch on. Any comments or questions, drop them in the chat. I'll get to them. Let me discuss Buffett while it's on my mind before I forget. One of the biggest option strategies that Buffett has used over the years, you probably heard me talk about this before. I don't want to get too detailed into the theory and the strategy itself, but I'll just mention it by name. One of the main option strategies that Buffett used over the years was selling puts. Okay, don't believe me, don't take my word for it. Search the AI, search Google, find out for yourself. Okay, Buffett used selling puts as one of his main option strategies. Okay, but you're not going to believe me. You're going to perform your own analysis and come to your own conclusions. All right, so Buffett's one of the best investors of all time. He used one of the very simplest strategies of selling puts to build out his wealth. We can do the same thing. All right, okay, so that's a little bit about Buffett and his option strategy. What else do we got? Oh yeah, I wanted to mention this in regards to Miami as well before I forget. Actually, I wanted to drop this in the chat. Let me see if I can drop this in the chat. Paste. Yeah, right there. That link I just dropped in the chat it's the link to the Economic Elevation Summit this week. If you can't make it to Miami, consider the virtual option. What I'm going to do Friday night for everyone that's in person and watching online is drop a discount code if you're interested in bulk consultations with me. A lot of people consult with me with the options. You might know me from the options context, but I believe I'm better at business. So if you want to consult with me for your business or options, I will be dropping a discount code for all my bulk consultations during Friday's presentation. So the link is right there in the chat. All right, so I wanted to mention that before I forget, because I'd be forgetting. Okay, next thing on my notes here is earnings. I want to talk about some companies that reported earnings this week or will report earnings this week. Let me share my screen here. There's several key companies I wanted to talk about here. Let me stop sharing that one and let me share this one. All right, let me stop that one and let me share this one. All right, I wanted to run through some of these companies here. I know some of you have shares of these companies. I know some of you even run option plays on some of these companies. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, today's Wednesday. Okay, a couple days ago, Palantir reported, HIMS reported. Some of you run option plays on HIMS. Some of you run option plays on Palantir. Is a common REIT, popular REIT. Ford also reported. Who else we got here? For me personally, I own some shares in AMD. They reported yesterday. What else we got? SMCI. I think one or two of you told me you run plays on the SMCI. What else? Rivian, EV maker. Lucid. Who else we got here? Okay, so that was yesterday, Tuesday. Disney today, Uber today. Who else we got? Carvana. And here's a key one. I know you guys run some option plays on the IONQ, so just be aware that you've got earnings today if you own shares in IONQ. All right. So what else we got here? Tomorrow, Coinbase. I actually have an option position on Coinbase currently. Coinbase tomorrow. Shopify, DraftKings sports betting. I don't mess with the sports betting personally, but DraftKings. Who else we got? Lyft. Okay, so there's some companies reporting earnings this week. Tomorrow, Friday, no big names really. Yeti, maybe the biggest name here. So the biggest names this week were, I think, Palantir on Monday. Who else? Disney, AMD, uh, IONQ in terms of option plays. I know you like the IONQ for options. Coinbase, DraftKings, maybe. So just be aware of what companies report earnings and when. All right, so those are some earnings this week. What do you guys think about that? Are you guys how do you feel? How do you feel about that? Do you even care that there's earnings this week? You might not even care, right? You might care. You might just stick to your strategy. It doesn't matter, right? Um, these are things we want to be aware of, right? There's really no excuse for not being aware these days, right? All the technology we have at our fingertips, all these AI, all these search engines, all there's really no excuse for not knowing these days, right? This is the information age. There's no excuse for ignorance. There's no excuse for ignorance in today's with all this available technology. We got the most powerful computers in history at our fingertips, so there's really no excuse. Really no excuse. All right, let's see what we got here in the comment section. Andrea says, Boyce advises to have awareness of pregnancy stock options, which direction is based on earnings outcomes before, during, after. Okay. Advises, yeah, be aware. Yeah, right. I mean, if you're an owner in a company, shouldn't you be aware? Right. It just makes sense to be aware, right? You know what goes on in your business. You're aware of what goes on in your business. All right. Same thing for same thing if you're a shareholder. Shouldn't you know what goes on in your business? If you're a shareholder, you're an owner in the company. Shouldn't you know what's going on in the company? That's some good advice from Doc. Doc advises to have awareness. Yeah, there's no excuse for not being aware today. We got these supercomputers. We got these supercomputers. Awareness, pregnancy, stock options. Yeah, in terms of earnings. Yep. Be aware of when these companies report. Be aware of when the Fed meets. Be aware of jobs reports. You be aware of inflation reports. There's zero excuse. There's zero excuse. Let's see what else we got. Jen says she don't care. Jen stands 10 toes down. She don't care. She don't blow in the wind. She stays. She's not a pinball. She don't get bounced around Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. She don't get bounced around like a pinball. She stays 10 toes down. I stay 10 toes down. I don't really care what this man says, what that man says. I'm sticking to my strategy. Are you 10 toes down or do you blow in the wind? Tuesday you got one strategy. Wednesday you got one strategy. Thursday you got one strategy. Thursday you got scared. New strategy. Friday something else happened. Are you a pinball? Do you blow in the wind or are you 10 toes down? Let's see what Andrea says. I get alerts for various events on E-Trade. Okay, cool, good, yeah. Stay in the know. Stay in the know. Stay in the know. You're chief executive of your life. You're chief executive of your portfolio. Why wouldn't you want to be stay in the know? Why wouldn't you want to stay aware? Right? Chief executives do chief executive shit, right? Are you chief executive? Do you do chief executive shit? Yeah. I mean, this is not investment advice. I'm not saying do this or do that. Non-emotional. Ain't no emotion in this. In investing, there's no emotion. Um, it's all based on the numbers. All based on the numbers. Save the emotion for your family. Save the emotion for your significant other. Save the feelings for your family and your kids. When it comes to investing, the determining factor is the numbers, not the feelings. No feelings. You know how AI has no feelings? AI just meets the objective. That's my approach to investing. No feelings, no emotion, all economics. Does the math math? Does the math math? That's the bottom line. If the math maths, pull the trigger. If the math doesn't math, keep it moving. Well, we don't need a PhD for that. We just need consistency for that. We just need discipline for that. We just need foresight for that. We just need vision for that. We don't need fancy degrees. We don't need shiny resumes. Them shits don't work in today's economy anyways. What works in today's economy? What would you rather have in today's economy? A shiny resume or some shiny skills? I'm going to talk about that exact thing on Friday. No more shiny resumes. Shine up your skill set. Don't shine up your resume. No more shiny resumes. Shiny skills pay the bills, not shiny resumes. No shiny resumes, no shiny degrees. Shine up your skill set. Shine up your mindset. Shine up your vision. Shine up your discipline. Shine up your consistency. Shine up your network. Stop shining up your resume. There you go. Skills. Skills pay the bills. Skills pay the bills. Shiny resumes don't work in today's economy. Shiny resumes don't work in tomorrow's economy. Shiny skills pay the bills. Shine up your skill set. All right. What else we got here? I want to leave some Q&A time. Any comments or questions? Any comments or questions? Drop it in the chat. If you got some questions, just make them concise. No life stories in the chat. Concise questions only. I'll try to get to them. I'll try to give me a concise question. I'll give you a concise answer. One thing that always stuck with me, thinking back to business school, is if someone asks you a question and you start giving them a whole bunch of runaround and fluff, you know what the hell you're talking about. The more concise your answer, the more you're viewed as you know what you're talking about. If you ask me 2 + 2 and I start telling you the history of number theory, yo man, what's 2 + 2, man? 4. Go sit down. The more I bullshit you, the more I don't know what I'm talking about. Business lesson 5 right there. Business lesson 5 right there. Someone asks you a question, especially in business, answer concisely. If you don't know the answer, tell them you don't know. I'll get back to you. I'd rather someone tell me they don't know the answer. I'll circle back with you instead of you bullshit me. What would you rather have? Someone be straight up and direct with you and say, I don't know the answer. Let me research. Let me get back to you. Or give you a bunch of fluff or bullshit you. What would you rather have? Business lesson 5. Someone asks you a question, answer concisely. The more you don't answer concisely, the more you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I remember that was probably the first week in business school back in the day. Someone asks you a question in business, answer concisely or say you don't know. Don't bullshit nobody. Right? If I start bullshitting you, if you ask me a question, I start bullshitting you right off the bat. Am I trustworthy? Am I an expert in my field? Do I know what I'm talking about? Or am I bullshitting you? Come on, man. No PhDs necessary. No fancy degrees necessary. Business lesson 5. Someone asks you a question, answer concisely. Or say you don't know. I'll get back to you. Andrew got a t-shirt business. Slogan fee, skills pay the bills. Someone go on one of them websites. There's a business, there's a startup idea right there. T-shirts, slogans, no bullshit. Skills pay the bills. New economy. Skills are what matters. Degrees don't matter in today's economy. Degrees are increasingly meaningless. In my opinion, only 6 fields are worth going to school. Only 6 fields are worth eternal debt in America to go to school for. 4 STEM fields: nursing and business. And if really there's only one field worth going to school for. You know why? It's business, and you know why? Everyone ends up studying business anyways. You might as well study business from the jump. But yeah, Andrea, good idea right there. T-shirt business, skills pay the bills. Skills pay the bills. What would you rather have? Some fancy degrees, some fancy resumes, or some fancy skills? Bottom line. Let's see here. Watch how you clarify these questions before jumping into talk. You see clear and concise. Yeah, concise is the key. Concise is the key. The more concise you are, the more you're viewed as an expert. Someone asks you a question and you give them a whole bunch of runaround and fluff and bullshit. Yo, man, what? I used to work with this. I used to work on the day job with this one guy. I'd ask him a simple question, and he'd give me the mental runaround, and I swear I had to go lie down after talk to him. I still wouldn't have the answer to the question. I feel like so mentally exhausted. This guy would give me the mental runaround. I still didn't have the answer, and I was mentally tired. I'd have to go lie down, and I still didn't know the answer. I'm like, yo, what's up with the report, man? Where's the report? Well, the history of man. Yo, man, where's the report, man? Did you do the report or not, man? Don't give me no mental runaround on all that bullshit. Did you do the report or not, man? Yes or no? Come on, man. Be concise, man. Lesson 5, business lesson 5. Be concise, man. Be concise. The more you give me the mental runaround, the more you bullshit me, the more you're viewed as someone you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Yeah. So any comments or questions, just keep them concise in the chat. I'll try to get to them. Let me check my notes here. We talked about earnings. Some of these big companies, they report this week or will be reporting this week. 3 main articles we talked about today. First was the Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting. We talked about the Fed's decision later today, and we talked about the United States and Canada's relationship. So we discussed 5 simple business lessons. We don't need to go to PhD school for some of these business lessons. Just be a solid person, man. Just be a trustworthy person. That should go without saying, right? That should go without saying. All right, I want to leave some time for some question and answer and any ticker. If you guys want to discuss any ticker specifically, while you guys type that in the chat, I want to share. I want to share the current market again. Let's see what the current market looks like before we wrap. All right, let's see here. Okay, here's a live look at the current market. Mostly green. Apple's down. Okay, Apple's at 195. I like that price right there. I bought some shares of Apple the other day. I believe at 198. I do like it. If I liked it at 198, I should really like it at 195. What else we got here? Okay, so there's a 195 Apple. What else we have here? Amazon 188, up almost 2%. I was at 185 this morning. I like Amazon at 195 or 185. I have a good holding in Amazon. I like Amazon for a couple of reasons here. I use Amazon, on a regular basis. The Prime drops off my packages, so if I'm buying things off of Amazon on a regular basis, I need to be a shareholder. Amazon stays delivering them packages. Amazon actually operates in multiple sectors of the economy, so that's another reason I like Amazon. What else we got here? Coinbase. Some of you may run option plays on the Coinbase. 198 current market, currently at 198. What else we got? Google. Yeah, someone look up what's going on with Google. Why is Google down 8% today? $13. That's very volatile for a company like that. So there's something going on in these streets with Google. What's up with Google? Someone look up what's going on with Google. What else we got here? Microsoft reported last week. I think we just talked about that last week. It jumped last week. Let's see. Let's take a look at Microsoft's chart right quick. Okay, so let me go with the 5-day. Is it 5-day? No. Okay, so that's the That's the jump. What was this? Tuesday, Wednesday, between last Wednesday and last Thursday, we see a significant jump. It jumped from about 390 something to 420-ish, 425 after its earnings last week. Uh, I I also hold Microsoft in my long-term portfolio. Meta. I know some of you run the option plays on the Meta. Currently at 596. MicroStrategy is another volatile ticker. Look at that MicroStrategies chart right there. Currently at 394. What else? We have Netflix 1156, Nvidia 113. I think it was that reports, was it today or tomorrow? Palantir 108. What else do we got? We got Tesla 273, TSM 173, ExxonMobil 104. So those are some of the tickers I track right there. I really don't even track all these tickers. I just have them on my trading view. Let's see what we got in the chat here. Let's see what we got in the chat. Let's go to the chat. Let's see what we got. Shine your skills. Yeah, shine your skills. Shine your skills. It's a new economy. New economy. The world flipped upside down as of March 2020. Economy changed. Did we change? Did we adapt? Do we have skills, or do we have fancy degrees and fancy resumes? We want fancy ownership. Break us off fancy ownership. Y'all can keep the fancy degrees. We want fancy ownership. Where's the fancy ownership? Sign me up. Shine up your skill set. Shine up your ownership. They can keep the shiny skills and the shiny resumes. Google stock sinks on report Apple plans to integrate AI search into Safari browser. Okay, that's why. Google stock sinks on report Apple plans to integrate AI search into Safari. Okay, so I believe Apple and Google had a partnership up until now for the iPhone's default search to be Google. Now will it be Safari? Is that right? If you like Google, what was it, in the 140s? Let's see, 149 was it? Yeah, 149.50. That's a good price. I remember Google in the 120s last year, and I was like, man, it went too high. So now it's at it's pulled back to 140, 149. So if you like Google in the 140s, take a look. Okay, so maybe that explains why Google pulled back a lot today. Save your emotions for the family. Save your emotions for your family. Save your emotions for your significant other. Save your emotions for more important things. For the high level investing, it's all based on mathematics and economics. Keep the emotions out of it. Keep the emotions out of it. Only if you're serious. Only if you're serious. What is this? Jen asked, do you keep any types of teachers? Do you keep any types of teachers? What do you mean? Do you keep any types of teachers? I'm not following the question. Do I keep any types of teachers? Can you rephrase, please? On your portfolio, do you keep any types of teachers on your portfolio? Oh, trackers, my bad. Do I keep any type of trackers on my portfolios? Not really. Not really. I just have some informal trackers in my brain. I have the original intelligence. I'm not too dependent on the artificial intelligence just yet. I still believe original intelligence is better than artificial intelligence as of present day. So I don't keep any formal trackers. I kind of keep informal trackers in my mind. I know what prices I like these assets at. If these tickers pull back to these prices, I will jump in heavier than I already am. So no, not formal trackers. Alphabet has Waymo and Cali. From my understanding, Waymo is driverless cars. Is that right in California? I believe they're piloting that initiative out there in Cali. For all my Cali people, is that true? Waymo in Cali? For anyone in Cali? Okay, so let's talk through this. If Google has Waymo for the driverless cars, and Tesla is working on their autonomous vehicles. Those will be direct competitors. I'm not sure if Waymo. Okay, so actually, three companies, right? Three companies. Actually, four companies: Uber, Lyft, Google, and sorry, not Google. The parent company is Alphabet, right? Uber, Lyft, Alphabet, and Tesla. How do you, if you're chief executive of those companies, how do you position yourself in terms of getting market share? Are you going to pick up, are you going to go the Uber route? Will you partner with Uber and say, look, if I'm Tesla, if I'm Elon Musk, do I reach out to Uber and say, look, let me partner with you. I have a whole fleet of autonomous driving vehicles. So how would you position yourself? I mean, these are the exact questions chief executives ask themselves. What partnerships should I make? Should I even make a partnership at all? Should I sit on the sidelines? Should I be proactive? Should I be reactive? Should I do nothing? Should I watch what my competitor is doing and try to do something better? If you're a real chief executive, all these types of questions will be going on in your head 24 hours a day, right? You have to be proactive. You have to be proactive. Sometimes you can be reactive, but the best chief executives are proactive. They think ahead. They have a vision ahead, tomorrow's vision, next week's vision, next quarter's vision, next decade's vision, next century's vision. How can I position my company? How can I steal mind share, and how can I steal market share from my competitors? So if you're Alphabet in Cali and you have Waymo, how do you position Waymo? Do you talk to Uber? Do you talk to Lyft? Or do you do something completely different? So these are all questions executives ask themselves. Andrea says, I own two few shares of Google. Yes, competitor of Tesla. Now, in terms of autonomous vehicles, they will compete directly, but overall, the companies may not compete directly in terms of all of their lines of business. They're both tech companies, but Google's more on the communication side, and then Tesla's more on the battery charging and EV side. So they may compete in one or two lines of business, but they may not compete. They may not be direct competitors overall. You understand? What's another example of that? My company and your company may compete on one or two lines of business, but we're not direct competitors overall. Does that make sense? You're right. So yeah, exactly. So they will compete on the taxis for rideshare. If I believe Tesla will compete. I'm not sure how Waymo will work, but if they do, those two companies will compete. Will be direct competitors when it comes to rideshare. What are your thoughts on owning some hood? What are your thoughts on owning some hood? I don't follow hood too much. What's the current price of hood? I believe it does have an active options market, a very liquid options market. What's the price on hood though? I don't even know. Here's my general thoughts on owning any asset. It's never a bad idea to own assets. That's the general idea, right? So if the question was, should I own some assets or should I not own some assets? I always say, look, own some assets. But I don't follow hood too closely to know what price it's currently at, what price it was yesterday, what price it could be going to in the future. The little I do know about hood is that some people I follow online and some people I consult with, they do like the hood. I just don't know too much about it to speak too much on hood. But it can't be a bad idea to own assets, right? That's the general bottom line. It's never a bad idea to own assets. Alphabet's Waymo is the competitor to Tesla's. Okay, full service drive. Okay, got it. So those two companies will compete directly when it comes to autonomous vehicles. So if you're Elon Musk, if you're what's the Google CEO's name? I forget. He was in DC there in Trump a few months back. I forget his name though. But if you're him and if you're Elon Musk, how would you differentiate yourself? How are you going to steal market share from your competitor? How are you going to steal mind share from your competitor? If you if you do decide to compete head up with your competitor, how will you make your competitor obsolete? How will the public choose your company over your competitor's company? Why would the consumer choose your company and not their company? What's going to differentiate your company over theirs? Why would somebody pick your company over theirs? So these are questions we need to ask ourselves as chief executives. How can you differentiate yourself? Why would somebody choose you? Out of all the options in the market, out of all 100 options, why would I choose your company? Why wouldn't I choose this other company? What differentiates you? What's your moat? What's your competitive advantage? Okay, 4884. Okay, Hood's 4884. Okay, so I don't follow Hood too much. Is that high? Is that low? Is that near the all-time low? Is that near the all-time high? It's kind of relative, right? So let me pull up Hood right quick. Let's take a look at Hood on Yahoo Finance, see what's up. Let's check Hood right quick. Let me stop sharing that one. Let me go to Yahoo Finance and look up Hood, Hood. Okay, let's Robin Hood. Let me share my screen here and let's take a look at the Hood right quick. Share screen. Robin Hood. Share. Okay, here's Hood 48 and some change. Let's take a look at its chart. Where's my Robin Hood? Where's my Yahoo? Okay, here's the chart. Okay, there's a chart. Let's check the 5-day. Okay, sir, currently 48 and some change. 5-day about flat. 1 month. Okay, up a lot. 1 month. Okay, so what's happened in the last month for this to shoot up that much? The real question was, did you like it back in? Did you like it on April 7th? Right? What is it? May 7th today? Okay, look, if we like it on May 7th at 48, why didn't we like it on April 7th at 35? What happened in the last month with Hood? 6 months up a lot. Year to date up a lot. 30%. 1 year up. Oh wow. 1 year. The question is, did we like it a year ago? Did we like it 5 years ago? It's easy to like it when it's in the headlines of the news. The real question is, did you like it before it was in the headlines of the news? Did you jump in back then? Did you buy in back then? Or did you just buy in after all the headlines and all the hype? Right? A lot of times, whether investment is good or not comes down to entry price. Right? If I bought at 48 versus if I bought at 17. Right? If I bought at 17, it's a great investment. If I bought at 48, maybe not. Right? So there's a quick summary on the Hood. What else we got? Not sure. Sports betting, maybe. Hood, Robinhood, isn't it Robinhood? The investment app. I believe it's the investment app. Robinhood. Before we wrap, just a couple final announcements. Log into Black Business School. We prioritize freedom education. Traditional education is traditional. Traditional education may get you a job. Freedom education may get you free, so you will study accordingly. If you want to check me out on my website, errolsemengo.com. You can look up consults and some of the other services I offer. If you're on social, connect with me on social. I'm most active on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter. It's only a matter of time before I get banned on these platforms. I take it as a badge of honor. Once I'm banned, that just means I'm making a difference. So connect with me on social while you can. Again, this class meets every Wednesday, noon Eastern. Talk some current events in the stock market. We take a live look at the market, and we go where. So here's a question for everyone. Why even study the stock market? Why study the stock market? Of all things we could study, why study the stock market? Why study the stock market at all? Why even bother? Why study the stock market? Stock market is here's the simple answer. The stock market is where the wealth, power, and ownership are in America. Okay, not where the jobs in this eternal subordination are. The jobs in the eternal subordination are elsewhere. The ownership, the power, and the wealth are in the stock market. That's why we study the stock market. We want wealth, we want power, we want ownership. We're not so big on the jobs in the eternal subordination. That's not where the stock. That's not what the stock market is concerned with. If you want to build wealth, if you want ownership, if you want power, you need to be in the stock market. That's why we study the stock market. Okay. I personally can speak for myself only. A lot of miseducation in my past. I had to unbrainwash myself and reprogram. I had to deprogram and reprogram. So that's the short answer of why we should study the stock market. It's simply where the wealth, power, and ownership are in America. Anyways, it's just after 1 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully I see you in Miami. I will be presenting some big boy examples in Miami. We're tired of playing small. We're tired of playing scared. We're only playing to make history now. So if you want some big boy examples, if you want some heavyweight examples, join me in Miami. Check out the virtual link if you can't make it in Miami. No more mediocrity. Excellence only. Excellence only. I will be presenting some heavyweight examples in Miami. Meet you in Miami. If not, I'll meet you again next Wednesday, noon Eastern. Until then, go get what you deserve. Stay disciplined. Stay focused. Stay consistent. Stay locked in. Don't get distracted. And you will get what you deserve. All right? I'm out. Peace.